So we traveled to the Maldives. Come on, dude, is that the spirit when you talk about Maldives? Yay, we went to the Maldives and it was amazing. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Let's go. 2020 was not the most ideal year. For someone who is watching this video in the far future, 2020 was the year when the world was hit by the coronavirus pandemic. Well, let's come back to the present now. Being at home for most of the 2020, I was yearning to travel. Although it was not safe to travel in most parts of the world in the early 2021, I was fortunate enough to plan a trip to the Maldives. Stay tuned on this video and in the series to check out the things I recommend, the things I don't, and the things I wish I did not miss. So we did our fair bit of research before making our travel plan. The first thing that we thought of was how safe is it to travel to Maldives or to any country in early 2021. For your information, anyone who wants to travel to the Maldives needs to have a COVID negative report and produce it at the point of departure. And when you return from Maldives back to India, you will have to take another COVID test at the airport. Having researched all of this, we were quite sure that it is safe to travel to the Maldives. From the point of departure, the test has to be taken 96 hours prior to your arrival in Maldives. So just 3 days prior to our flight, we headed to a testing center here in Bangalore, and we were so relieved with the negative COVID reports. Although we were taking all the precautions here at home, we were still a bit nervous about the report results, but we were so relieved and so relaxed after we found out that it has come out negative and that it's not going to affect our plan. All happy, we left for the airport with 4 hours remaining for our flight to depart. And then this happened.
We got really late at the airport because we didn't know the flight was preponed.
We never got a message from our airlines that our flight was preponed by 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, that's a huge amount of time. We were still in the check-in queue when the counter for Maldives boarding were closed, with just 40 minutes left for the flight to take off. We still had to check in, go through security, then go through immigration, and all of that stuff was still remaining. But we kept our cool, spoke with the authorities, and thankfully they understood our situation and made an exception for us. So right after the immigration, with our cabin luggage in our hands, it was a completely filmy moment for us running through the empty airport to the boarding gates. Finally, we boarded the plane and thought about all that happened. And honestly, it kind of gave us 2.5 hours more in the day to spend in Maldives. So we looked at the bright side of this. We took off from the Bangalore airport. Now from Bangalore, it's about 2 hours of flight time to reach Malé International Airport, which is also known as the Vellana International Airport. Malé is the capital city of Maldives. Just as we were starting to land, I saw out of the window, and oh my god, it was so amazing, so beautiful. The water, the islands, it was just completely something else. The turquoise and blue water of the ocean all mixed together. Oh my god, it was so friggin' beautiful. Now at the Malé airport, we were greeted and received by the staff of the resort we had made our reservations with. Maldives has a visa on arrival for most of the countries in the world, so the immigration process was quite smooth. So we are here in Maldives finally. We are in the city of Malé, where the airport is. Oh my god, and you can see the beautiful, beautiful sea out there. I'm just loving it. Resort staff helped us with another set of boarding passes, which was for the Seaplane. So from the airport, we took a bus to the Seaplane Terminal, which is about 5 minutes far. Since we had done our reservations with the Centara Grand Island Resort and Spa, all of the guests to that resort were clubbed together and we were asked to board one seaplane together. Centara Grand is surrounded by the blue ocean of the South Ari Atoll. It is a barefoot paradise with palm-fringed beach and shimmering lagoon. I was so excited to visit this place. Are you not going to tell them anything about the country? No? Why? It is important. Okay, if you think it's that important, why don't you tell them? Why do you think I won't? Hello, the Maldives is a nation of islands in the Indian Ocean that spans across the equator. The country is comprised of 1,192 islands, grouped into a double chain of 26 atolls that stretch a long length of 871 kilometers. The country covers an area of about 90,000 square kilometers, but only 298 of it is dry land. Only 200 of the islands are inhabited, and a select few on each of the atolls are resorts, while some of the islands are used for industry and agriculture. The capital of Maldives is the city of Malé. The Maldives is home to about 5% of the world's reef, which are home to 1,000 species of fish. It is believed that Maldives was settled well over 2,500 years ago as a result of several waves of settlement from various parts of the Indian subcontinent. Due to its geographical location, the country was a melting pot of people and culture. Thank you. Thank you, the other me, for all the information. So, as we were talking about the Seaplane Terminal, it's a fairly small terminal. One quick tip here, if you're thinking to have some food, it's better that you have that from the international airport as opposed to the Seaplane Terminal, because the Seaplane Terminal has just one food counter and that also doesn't have a lot of options. We just got a sandwich from here which was about $25 US. Talking about the currency, since we had that small issue at the Bangalore airport, we did not get time to exchange our currency for US dollars. Now almost everywhere in Maldives, US dollar is accepted. If you want, you can get that exchanged again at the Malé International Airport. If you don't, like we did not, almost everywhere credit cards are accepted. Now, flying in a seaplane is a completely different experience. It was totally magical for me. But for some people who are doing it for the first time, it may not be that comfortable because the seaplane actually takes off from the water and lands in the water, hence the name seaplane. So the plane takes off from Malé and we were headed to our resort, which was about 25 minutes flight time. Now depending on the resort you have booked, this flight time may vary. Also, some resorts don't have seaplanes. In those cases, chances are you'll be using a boat. So while on the seaplane in the air, if you look out of the window, you can see some majestic views. You can see other resorts and small islands surrounded by this turquoise water, and you can see a clear distinction between the two colors in the water. So we landed in the middle of the ocean in the South Hardy Atoll in front of our Centara Grand Resort. From here, a boat with the resort's staff took us to the mainland of the island, which took about 3 or 4 minutes. I was totally swept away with the natural beauty around us. I really don't think there are enough words to describe that. So at the reception, we were warmly welcomed by the staff of the resort and provided some refreshing tea. Since Maldives is a tropical country, the climate is mostly warm, and having this tea clearly relaxed us and refreshed us from inside. After some formalities, we were taken to our villa.
We have just checked in and now we are heading to our rooms. Look at this.
We had booked the Sunset Ocean Pool Villa, which is this totally isolated villa facing west for those beautiful sunsets in the evening. These villas are on top of the ocean, about 150 meters away from the mainland of the island, connected by this beautiful wooden bridge. Here's a quick tour of the villa. Like living in the lap of luxury here. The room was so beautiful with all of the facilities, and the best thing about the room was this view from the backside patio. It was just breathtaking. From there we could just see miles and miles of ocean, the Indian Ocean, and nothing else. And the beautiful thing is that the way they have constructed these villas is that you don't realize that there are probably around 20 more villas around you, but it just feels so private, so secluded, and yet so much connected to the world. It was just beautiful.